All right, we are recording.
Nice, nice.
By now, we've already heard the spooky intro, the cinematic suffering spooky intro.
That's right.
Okay, we heard it.
Very spooky.
And we are
We
cinematic
are.
suffering.
That's right. That was very good. Take two. God
We're
damn
right
it.
on time. we're right eye to eye to each other. That's what's so good about us, man.
Staring right in the camera. That's not uncomfortable, is it? Okay, we are cinematic suffering. And what do we do here, Jason? What's our point in life? What's our purpose?
Well, our point and purpose in life is to uh, be thespians. Oh, no, maybe not thespians is a strong word. Maybe critiquers. No, we don't really critique. We just kind of actually we just watch pretty bad movies and then just riff
Purveyors of crap.
and then riff on them, and then hopefully they'll will create some kind of internal suffering within our souls that we'll never want to watch anything like that again.
Yes, and at the time of recording these, we haven't gotten any cease and desist letters yet, but we're expecting them,
Oh
and
yeah.
those will add to our suffering. We can't wait. We can't wait for legal entanglements that we can in no way afford.
Legal entanglements and arguments with the creators of these products online. I mean, there's all.
Oh, I welcome that.
Yeah,
Just
salivating at the moment that comes. All right, so let's kick things off and watch this theatrical trailer for it's H.P. Lovecraft's The Deep Ones.
the deep ones. Yes, let's check it out.
All right.
We are the baby. We are.
Who's the baby now?
Who's the baby? So,
Oh,
The
oh.
Deep Ones is a visionary 2020 masterpiece helmed by writer-director Chad Ferrin, starring Gina Piana, Robert Miano, and Johann
Johann
2020.
what?
Johann Herb.
Herb.
Thanks for
Okay.
smoking the herb.
All right. Well, The Deep Ones. How did this one come across your radar?
I I was just on not Netflix but the other one, Amazon Prime.
Oh, okay.
Just going through looking at horror movie suggestions that we could both watch with an Amazon Prime membership. Trying to be frugal, and it stood out because total transparency. I figured we could kind of chuckle at it, make fun of it. The trailer was pretty honest. What you see is what you're going to get in this movie. There's not a whole lot of red herrings in the trailer.
Yeah, I think the trailer. I mean, honestly, the trailer. That was a 2 minute something long trailer, 2 minutes and 1 second, and it revealed a lot of what happened in that movie. In fact, there's probably some
Yeah.
spoilers in that trailer. Of course, you probably wouldn't know that until you actually watched it. But
Yeah, it's one of those things you realize after the fact. Like, you guys kind of, I don't know. I guess that's kind of a tough thing to decide when you're making a trailer,
yeah,
especially if you're a low budget horror movie director. Do you show too much because you got to get people to watch it? But if you don't show enough, you're not really giving people anything to sink their teeth into.
yeah,
This
exactly.
pretty much was the sizzle reel. This was the highlights of
Yeah.
the movie. Aside from the nudity, that was the other big quote unquote selling point.
Right,
Of
right.
it.
So I think when I saw the theatrical trailer, I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely gonna be a fun one to do, and because we're both huge H.P. Lovecraft fans, of that pulp
Oh,
kind of
hell yeah.
horror and stuff like that, and the movie takes liberties, of course, like every H.P. Lovecraft adaptation does.
Yeah.
But they pull in things from classic stories like the Shadow over Innsmouth, Dagon, and a few others. Maybe even Call of Cthulhu, just a little bit.
Yeah, like Cthulhu's definitely mentioned. He's the cult that you see in there. It's a Cthulhu cult, and they bring him up. They name him by name, which probably has to be a big sin if you're a Cthulhuite.
Right, and they also bring up Dagon by name. So I thought, I know we ragged on it pretty hard during our watch through. And by the way, if you want to see our watch through of it, please head on over to our Patreon and you can queue it up and watch it along with us. But after all is said and done, I thought it was an okay film. I mean, overall, that's my
Yeah, I
honest
mean,
opinion.
Yeah, well, it's one of these things. If you see the trailer and then you watch the movie, you kind of know what you're getting into. It's pretty obvious that that's kind of your thing.
Right.
Something that's silly. Whether I think it knows that it's a little bit silly. I got the feeling that a lot of it was pretty tongue in cheek. That they kind of knew what what
Yeah.
they were dealing with a little bit. Um, but yeah, it was entertaining. It was the more I go on, the more I realize I just kind of like bad movies. So it
Yeah.
was,
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the director even said that, there was some freedom to play around with, some improv and let the actors do what they wanted to do. Now, usually this means fascinating and great things in a movie, when you come across
and
some great talented actors. Now, I'm not dissing these actors whatsoever, but there was a lack of substance sometimes. Uh,
well, yeah, there really was. I got the idea that what is the director that I should know this. In fact, I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget it, and here I am forgetting it. Robert Altman, maybe that was known for his movies with a lot of overlapping dialogue.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can tell that Chad Ferrin, the writer director of the Deep Ones, kind of fancies himself a protege, but it's the difference is the quality of actors that you have, and then the quality of prose in your script. This was
Right.
you could tell that he just told the folks in this movie, who were obviously all a group of friends. In fact,
Yeah.
we one of the little bits of trivia that we learned about this movie is that it was filmed at the star's house. It was just basically like, look, I have a house if you want to film here. So then they
Yeah,
did.
Gina Piana, who plays the
Yes.
main character, at the in this movie, that what was her house, yeah, and
Yeah.
I guess she had hooked up with, she had known the director, Chad, because she had done other stuff with him in the past,
I don't know if they worked together or not. I know they knew one another, and I got the idea that her other co-star, whoever played Petrie, I forget Herb, Johann Herb.
yeah.
I get the feeling that they're a real life couple.
Oh, they may be. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I know Chad said in that interview that I saw that he didn't know the guy who was Petrie. He said he knew pretty much everyone else that was on the set,
Okay.
except for him. And if he was like, well, if Petrie, or it's not his name. What is his name again? Johann.
Johann Herb is his
Yeah,
real
when
name.
if Johann doesn't want to do the tentacle deep throat scene and the rape in the bathroom, then we may have to fire him or find someone else. And I was laughing. I was like, you could tell this guy has a great sense of humor,
Yeah.
and the whole it seemed like the whole cast probably had a good time making this, even though they knew it was a low budget, feature.
Well, and that definitely comes through in the finished product. And what's funny is, like, I believe I can't recall exactly that I was this prophetic in what I was when our discussion and our commentary of the movie, but I believe I said something to the effect of, like, this was just a party that they said, "Hey, let's film,"
It
and
was.
it turned out that that was exactly it. Like, that was precisely what happened. They just got a bunch of friends together, uh, and I imagine, like, there was the conversation was, okay, guys, stop partying, everybody, shh, quiet on the set, we gotta do this movie again. And
Put your hoods up
everybody,
and everyone recite these lines. Oh man, I'm just got into my fifth Jack here.
I
Jack
know,
and Coke.
but Moscato, put the Moscato down, you're already hammered. Yeah, that it had that quality, which kind of made it fun, but it was also just the unprofessional quality kind of permeated the movie too. You could tell that people were
Yeah.
just like, script Schmidt.
Yeah, I thought they there's other things that were just odd little items that were thrown in, and I will say that the doctor, the person who played the doctor,
Yeah.
is where if our reaction during the watch along is priceless because we're like, oh, okay, because I'll tell you guys what was going on because I was like, oh, Divine did it better. It's basically just it was a guy uh in a women's clothing and a wig who's playing the doctor. Now, I didn't know because I certainly don't want to be insensitive to certain things, but this did not look like a guy who regularly wore women's clothes or regularly wore a wig. It would look like a man who just put on a wig and said, "Let's
Yeah,
do
it's
this."
He had the quality of I'm game for anything, the show must go on. Like
Right. He
so
it,
it'd
and
be
that's
like if I put on a dress, like just not really at home in a dress.
right.
It's
Well, it turns out that that's actually what happened. I had to go and deep dive a little bit more. So the guy who plays him is Timothy Muscatole. He plays Dr. Jean Rayburn, and in the movie, Dr. Jean Rayburn is a female, but he's not pulling it off very well because he's not a professional drag queen or whatever. And apparently that role was supposed to be played by the incredibly beautiful Bai Ling, who's been in so many movies. I mean, so many movies, maybe not as a major lead role, but you've seen her,
yeah.
But I guess her part just couldn't, or she couldn't get the time on her schedule to get freed up to come and do the part. So they said, "Oh well, this is kind of an unknown." We said, "Well, what are we going to do? We need the doctor." This guy William, I guess, just said, "Hey, I'll do it," and I'll dress like a
All
woman.
right.
I'll dress like a woman. And the director's like, okay.
Sure. I
I'll,
mean, like, and what's funny is like, there's tons of extras. Some of them running around just stark naked. There's plenty of women that you could have picked to do it. No, this is like, I'm sure that they thought, well, this will be goofy and weird and
yeah, yeah.
silly. Let's
It
do
was
this.
it was a little goofy, and yeah, it
Well,
was just
it's like you got all that component of it as the guy that's I'll try drag. How hard can it be?
right.
Well,
It's
kind of the tone, and but also just the acting was just so look at me weird. You could tell this is my shot. This is my shot for the big time.
no, that's what we were riffing on in the film is that he was talking like this, and it reminded me of the Little Britain of
Yeah.
the guy imitating. Says, "I'm a lady, look at me," and then was he's talking that same cadence in that same
Mhm.
theatrical voice, and it's like, "Oh, this is my big shot."
I'm an actor. I'm a real thespian. Finally, this is my shot. I wonder how many people have been in movies like this, thinking like genuinely thinking this is it. This is like it's
Oh,
all onward and upward from here.
yeah, I think there's a
No.
ton of people that are like that. I really do. I mean,
Yeah,
I've worked on small films like this, and yeah, a lot of those actors that were there were they were ready for the big time, man.
like they're taking it totally way too seriously.
I did like a multitude of work on this one movie. It's called Mutation, and I did like set dressing. I did PA parts. I set up lights. I was just like a
Nice.
just because it was free. I wasn't getting paid either. So,
Yeah.
but this like a couple of the actors were just like, could you go get me a coffee? Kind of thing. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna
No,
do
but
that. But you can because you're sitting there not doing anything, so you can do it.
yeah,
I was trying to set up lights, and these people were like acting like they're, you know, Patrick.
like you work for them.
Right? Yeah, and I was just like,
Oh man.
I was like, if this was like a total salaried union job, then yeah, I'd probably do something. But you've never been in a movie. This is your only movie. You'll never be in anything else. And I told them that
It's
to their face. That's a lie.
nice.
I didn't do that. I'm sorry. That'd be too
You
cruel.
take that, you non-actor. Mutation. That's cool though. I didn't know
Yeah.
that you did that. That's your brush with the movie, kind of world,
It is. It was pretty fun, but I mean, fun being relative, because it was a total low
Still
budget
work.
thing. So you kind of get like an insider's perspective on those kind of low budget items. When it
Yeah.
comes to the deep ones, it looks like some of their effects really were effective.
They were
The
bad. They were bad. I thought the special effects in what's one of those other movies, those other low budget movies that we watched, the VHS one. I'm blanking on the name already.
Beyond the Gates.
Yeah, Beyond the Gates. I thought the special effects were surprisingly pretty good in that one. They weren't terrible in this one. Like there was you know what the tentacle effects reminded me of? This is probably this might be admitting too much, but like remember there was a short moment in the early 2000s where they were trying to sell like live action hentai tentacle movies as a thing, and it just didn't take.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the quality of the tentacle animation. You could
It's just
tell it's
wobbling
kind of like,
around.
yeah, it's like it's kind of like the audience will appreciate intent more than the actual end product.
I think that's what it was. I appreciated the intent of the tentacles. I think one of the better special effects I did see were, when her eyes were glowing. The girl who was pregnant and she was birthing the tentacle things. It showed her
Yeah.
eyes glowing, this white glow, and I know it's probably like a really cheap kind of effect they did, but they did it really well. Where to me, I was
Yeah.
like, that's pretty cool. They did a good job with that.
Well, I mean, and it's like we said, the movie knew what it had to work with, and I mean, just shamelessly, like the very first scene was a woman stark naked, running for her lives, flopping everywhere. So they could. I almost get the feeling that the mentality is like, this is going to be on Amazon Prime. People have plenty of other choices. We need to hook them like that.
Yeah, yeah. No, I thought they did a good job with that, and I thought that yeah, there was some slow pacing here and there, but nothing so dramatic as some other stuff we've seen already.
Yeah.
So I thought they did a good job, kind of putting little things here, even though it may not have been overtly action packed or anything. There were some little moments that were pretty cool. I dug it.
No, it was fun. It was it wasn't a good movie in the traditional sense of the
Yeah.
word good, but that's not really what we're going for on this. It's
No, no, no.
it's not really the kind of movies that we've been compelled to review and
Yeah.
watch. I mean, what's funny is like kind of just the life of this podcast, and like the evolution of it from an audio only podcast. When we do hit a movie that's genuinely good, it's like, well, I don't have anything to say. Well, I can just sit here like a mute and watch this good movie. How boring is that?
You're right. Yeah, yeah. No, that's my biggest fear, that we get into a movie like that and it turns out to be really good, and then by the
Well,
end
we
of the
kind of know certain ones, going in, like the
yeah.
new Evil Dead. You know that there's not going to be much to make fun of there because the movie is entertaining in and of itself. It kind of
Yeah.
knows what it's doing. So
And I actually went and saw that last week, so I finally got to see it.
I really
Yeah.
enjoyed that one. I know that's not the topic of the show, but
Right, yeah.
I enjoyed it.
But there's a thing that I did not know. The homeless lady, she wasn't really homeless, I guess. The one who was looking for her daughter.
You
Uh,
called her Sissy Spacek.
you're right. It turns out she's actually, her name's Kelly Maroney, and she's been in a ton of B grade horror movies, but
Oh, cool.
probably the one you probably remember the most is Night of the Comet.
Oh, yeah.
She was the blonde girl in Night of the Comet that was the partner with the other girls. So
Oh, cool, cool.
and
Yeah, I didn't recognize her, but I love that movie. That's one of those HBO classics for
oh
me.
yeah, yeah, it's perfect. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's just a great ride. But I didn't know that. That was really cool. They got her a little part in there. So these guys aren't playing with just totally unknown faces and everything. I mean, if they get a contact with Bai Ling and they've got Kelly Maroney in here, and I know these other people have done probably some other little underground films too, along with the director.
It kind of makes you wonder, like, how do you get into that world? Because it's like, obviously there's not the same kind of um it's not the same kind of like ecosystem that's hard to get into as like a big budget Hollywood movie.
Right.
This is like a lower tier, but it still makes you wonder, like, how does this happen? Like, how do
Is
how do you come to have a movie on Amazon?
yeah.
Can it happen just because you want it to bad enough? And you because
Is
I've
there a
never tried. I
is
wonder if you could just do it if you try.
is there a LinkedIn for any of this? A specific kind of website? I don't know. That's a
I
good
bet.
question.
I bet there is, though. I bet there is. I bet there's really industry specific stuff, and it's probably the same kind of it's the same kind of thing as in any other kind of art industry. Is that certain people gain a bad reputation, like was stoned on the set or
Yeah.
forgot her lines or just didn't show up, and
Well, yeah, I remember back in the early 2000s when I did work on that movie, that I was on it was called Mandy's List or Mandy.com, something like that. It was like for, posting job openings within movies that were
Oh,
being
cool.
shot. So, a lot of, to get into that thing, yeah, it was like they had a PA. PA is kind of like the production assistant. It's got the lowest person on the totem pole. So
Right.
ton of positions, unpaid positions on low budget movies that are all over the place. And so I know that's how some people may get into it there. Um, But yeah, it's really weird. I haven't been doing that in a long time, so I don't know what they do now when it comes to that kind of stuff.
I mean, it's just it would conflict with my job too much, but I almost wonder if there's something like that here because there is a burgeoning film industry here in Atlanta.
Well, yeah, I mean, Walking Dead was a big part of
Yeah,
that, huge part of that.
yeah. In fact, like I totally unrelated to what we're talking about, but sue us. My sister-in-law was living right next to the main star of Walking Dead, the guy that played the sheriff dude.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's
she
cool.
was. Yeah, he and his family were living right next door, and she
Oh
was.
wow.
Hopefully she didn't ruthlessly embarrass herself because she's a huge fan of the show. So
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
My neighbor is
She's
Rick
just
from The
punishing him.
Walking Dead. Yeah,
Can I get an autograph?
I stalking him.
Yeah. Hi, neighbor. That's
I brought
awesome.
you chicken
Yeah.
wings.
I think he's an Australian. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
He's
Anyways,
English.
he's English. The
Yeah.
but there's other little things in the deep ones when they brought up Dagon,
Yeah.
the creature
Yeah.
Dagon. They did a real good. I thought it was a good creature costume that they
I
did.
was gonna say, like, you just see him kind of sitting there chilling for a minute, and then you don't see Dagon anymore, do you? Or you do? It's
No,
later on you do.
we see the fish-looking guy near the beginning. He's just kind of
Okay.
there. That's not Dagon though. That's just a fishy-looking guy. Dagon's
Okay.
the actual monster that comes out of the water and rapes the poor woman on the beach with
Oh
the
yeah,
cultist.
God,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I pointed this out during our commentary too, but I was like, this is definitely inspired by Neonomicon by Alan Moore. If you're a reader, it's a fantastic book.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to look that up. I remember you bringing that up.
Yeah, Alan Moore's written a trilogy of Lovecraftian stories, and I've heard they're all really good.
Right.
So. But this one is direct homage to that. It had to have been because it was spot on.
Oh damn. Well, I mean, geez, what else is there to say about the deep ones?
I mean, I would have liked the script to be a little bit more firmed up. It was, if you're gonna be kind of critical of it, it was, it's just kind of all over the place, and there was no really strong through line as far as the plot goes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was still fun. It was,
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it wasn't the perfect movie, and I enjoyed it to a point where I went away going, okay, I'm not hugely pissed that I saw this.
No,
There's some predictability throughout that. Okay, I know what's going to
yeah,
happen. I know what's going to happen. When the ending came around, spoiler alert, the ending ends how it begins. A lot of movies do that. It's just it's a common trope, and for this, I
yeah.
was like, you got to suspend your disbelief just a little bit that this beach community can kidnap people, impregnate them, and whatever that goal is. I think that was the thing we were wondering. What is the end goal for this town, this cult?
Yeah.
This monster comes up once a month, or however often they can get people to come to that beach house, rapes them, impregnates them. They replace the previous people there. Other people, I don't know.
Yeah, like that, like their goal is kind of odd because you don't need unwilling participants when you have a ready cult that's I mean, hell, the B&B guy's wife was pregnant with a squirming tentacle baby.
Right.
Like why do you need to kind of coerce people into it? There was a lot that they weren't even trying to explain. I bet if you asked these questions of the filmmaker, he'd be like, "Oh yeah, that'd be good. It'd be kind of cool if we explained that." It was like one thing, and it's like we already mentioned it. It was obvious that there was a party going on around the movie, and that party theme kind of you see it on screen. You can tell that everybody was having fun. They might have been having a little too much fun because the movie might have benefited from a tiny bit more professionalism. Like letting people improv is placing a lot of trust on actors.
Yeah.
If I was an actor, I would say outright, I'm not the improv guy. I don't think I would.
Right. Yeah.
I
Just
think
write
that
it down.
I need to know what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
And you could tell that some of the actors were like, no, I need to work from a script. And they were saying their lines. And then the other people were just winging it. And that's didn't necessarily work that well. But
yeah, it was a little weird when it came to that.
yeah,
There's like, I mean, if we want to delve into a little more critiquing of what was going on, there were scenes that went on especially long, and we're
Yeah.
used to that. The one scene where the main character comes into the party and uh, she's literally introduced to every person in that party. Hello,
Yeah.
I'm Carl. I'm Fishmouth. I'm so and so, and we just keep going down the list of people that is in the room. I'm like, okay, here we go. This is the padding
Yeah.
part we're going.
Yeah, like, this is where we like it to where it has to be classified as a movie, so we need to pad out the running time.
Right.
Yeah, and you could tell like the minute they yelled cut, it was like, all right, more Moscato, more chop 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 chop. I imagine there's a little bit of that sniff sniff chop chop.
Is my line going to get in the movie, Chad? Is it? Is it? Yeah, okay. Everyone's going to have a line in the movie. We'll just introduce everyone, all right? Everyone's getting an IMDb credit.
Yes, you get an IMDb credit to go along with your scathing case of the clap that you probably got at that party.
Oh my god! Oh, and we did mention the nudity. There was a little bit of nudity in the film, which was, we're not complaining at all about.
No, no,
I
it's
just
I mean
wonder
the
about
lead actor.
I just wonder about some of the choices some of the actors make when they decide they want to do a nude scene. It's like, is this really the movie you want to do it in, or do you want to make a better choice? I don't know.
I kind of wonder if that even is impactful in today's world. I don't know. It's kind of tough to. It's almost a deeper topic,
Yeah,
for everybody's. Kind of like the unpopular. It's unfashionable now to slut shame, and that
yeah.
definitely goes towards people that have done steamy scenes in movies, sex workers, and that kind of stuff like that. But I wonder if those people still have trouble getting jobs after they've done roles like that.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
that's a good question because maybe I'm just again maybe I'm just coming from just a really old perspective, which would make sense because I'm fucking old. But there's that thing that happened, in the 70s and the 80s. If a main actor exposed as shows their breasts on film or more, then
Yeah,
they'll never get work in this town again, or all their work will be like low budget shady stuff, and maybe
yeah.
that's
It's
not
just
even applicable to this day and age.
I hope it's not because it's
Yeah.
dumb.
No,
It's
it is
it's it's
totally.
always been dumb, and I don't know. It's hard for me to get a really kind of clear sense for that because I work in an art based industry. I mean, we have to be professional at my day job. You couldn't be walking around naked by any means, but in the art world, it's just not. I mean, like you'd have to do something that's actually messed up, or
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know, say the N word to somebody or something.
Right, right. I'm just thinking, again, maybe I'm just like coming from an old school place, but if I was in a movie like this and there's, hey, Jason, for this scene, we're gonna need you to show your dick. I mean, like,
I'd be like,
I'd be,
absolutely not.
I'd be weighing my options here. How much of this budget is in the movie, and when's it going to be released, and how many theaters, or it's those are
Well,
things that,
I guess it just depends on who you are. Like the protagonist in this film, like the leading lady, what was her name again? Gina.
Di Piana.
Yeah, Gina La Piana. She was obviously feels comfortable with
Yeah,
nudity on camera because she's like you treated to a sex scene right away,
yeah,
which is
yeah.
again had me thinking like we got to keep him hooked. You
Keep 'em
stay
hooked.
with us. Stay with us. Pretty. If you just stick with us, pretty soon you're gonna have tentacle kind of linguists. Hold on for that. Yeah, that's the big payoff. But
Yeah, there was.
yeah.
I think. I mean, by the end of it, I think we pretty much. I, I'm just trying to think. Like there's a lot of great things about this movie. There's a lot of stuff that could be worked on. Well, it's too late now, but obviously, but
Yeah, for the
um,
next feature, maybe.
like I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, I enjoyed it overall.
Yeah, it was
There,
for what it is, yeah, it's like, I mean, it was a fun, silly movie. It didn't overstay its welcome too much. It
Right.
it, it gave you enough chuckles and just like head scratching moments to point at the screen. It was populated by a lot of lovable weirdos, like
Right.
people that were probably interesting in and of themselves outside of that movie. Like, I just wanted to talk to some of the extras and be like, what kind of person are you? You're a very interesting
Yeah.
person.
No, and the fact that it came in at a nice brief an hour 23 minutes made it,
It was,
it was a good
yeah.
sweet spot. So I would
Yeah, yeah.
say I give it 2 cheeseburgers. I
I
hold my
give it
thumbs up, but I'm not gonna say
yeah.
thumbs up because that's someone else's thing.
I give it two and a half meaty juicy grubs. That's my rating.
Yeah, so these ratings are set in stone, and they're obviously based around a numerical metric that is based in
Totally
science.
thought out.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so that was H.P. Lovecraft's The Deep Ones.
Yes.
Guys,
Check it out.
yeah,
Amazon Prime.
definitely check it out. If you want to check out our watch through of it, it is on Patreon, and you can check it out there. And
Absolutely.
we have a bunch of good stuff coming out, and I hope you guys are there to watch it. Have fun.
Yes, yes. We appreciate your support, y'all.
Until next time, I don't think we have anything on the list for the moment, but we will find something and we will
Well,
do
put
it.
some in the comments. Tell
Yeah.
us what to watch next.
Yeah, for sure. Do that. And okay, so until next time, I'm Jason,
I'm Clay.
and then we're Cinematic Suffering.
That's right. Peace out, y'all.
Peace out. Peace out. Peace out.
Peace out.
God, I wish I could talk.
Sons of a bitch.